I'm Kerin Sorensen, your host here on Caught Between Worlds, Navigating End-of-Life Experiences. And hey, everyone, it's great to see you, and I have someone very, very special to interview today that is going to help us to lift up the love in our heart. So I want to introduce you to Shekina Rose. Hi, Shekina.
Hi, Kerin.
Hi, you live in my favorite place on the earth, which is Sedona, Arizona. And I know that you're called the Language of Light and Love songstress. And so I just want my viewers and me to understand more how this all came to you and how you are blessing the world through your song. So welcome and thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. It's been really nice to connect with you and to be a part of this project, and especially through the heart. You know, this heart awakening it's imperative, and it's really important, and it's really real, and there's different facets that are assisting us, you know, in this awakening of this higher expression of who we are. It's like what I feel is like our true divine human spirit. And I feel that we must be brave enough and courageous enough to live through that place of the sacred divine, because it'll change, you know, all things. I didn't know Sedona was your favorite place.
Oh, I do.
One of your favorite places. It's amazing here. I love it. I was called to come here and to live, and it seems as though it like amplifies like everything that you are, and all the things that you need to look at as well, to you know, to transform, to transcend. Whatever the pains and the sufferings and the sorrows, whatever those blocks are, because we don't need those anymore. They served us. Now it's time that, because I think many of us are feeling this like a movement, like this is a movement, and it's a calling, and from our soul. From the heart, as you will, like from the heart of the source of creator, to bring forth these expressions, these awakenings, in the sharing. And it's interesting about the heart is the reason that I sing in this particular language or song. I call it the language of light. And when I had a near-death experience, that's also what they told me that it was. That it was, you know, the language of light. And Kerin, the reason that I sing is because I had this near-death experience. And prior to that, and this was around in 2006, 7, but prior to that, I never sang before.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
Wow.
And I wouldn't sing for anything. I would not even go to any of those karaoke places, because I couldn't imagine myself singing ever in my life.
Didn't do choir or anything?
No. I mean, I think when I was in grade school, maybe in 5th or 6th grade, something, we sang in the class as a group. But I don't, no. After grade school, never would I do such a thing. And I had a near-death experience. I've had 3. But the one that happened in around 2006 was a kind of a dramatic one. And I spent some time in the light, and I spent some time wavering back and forth in this dimension and the light dimension. And I did get sick. I had food poisoning, and I had complications with this food poisoning, and my body couldn't withstand. I couldn't hold it anymore. My spirit and my body, my health, I couldn't hold it. So I went straight to the light. And when I was in the light, a lot of things happened. Like there were simultaneous things happening all at once. What I didn't know why I was wavering and I was in the light was that I was becoming attuned to these frequencies, to the frequencies, to the music, to the harmonics. Now on this plane, it'll come in through like a song or tones. But while I was up there, I was, you know, when you go back home, you remember, and it's natural and it's normal. And so that's what was happening. I was becoming attuned to the creation of music, of our frequency, our true essence, more of our pure essence of creation. And there were other things that happened, you know, while I was there. The one thing, the light and I just communicated telepathically, instantly. And there was no time. And I remember one of the things that the light and I discussed. And one of the things that I experienced with the light was kindness. And they were sharing the importance of kindness, the energy of it, what it does. And the light told me that kindness is God's love in action. There were a lot of things that happened to me there. And I was ready to cross over, because in that place, it's beyond time space. So I checked in to my life to make sure that everyone would be okay, and everyone would be okay. I don't have children or anything like that. And so I was getting ready to cross over into the light, and I was ready to step my leg over. You have a body, not your physical body, but you have your divine light body somehow. And I was going to step over. And, unbeknownst to me, something inside of my soul and my spirit said, and it came from my heart. This is what was interesting. Like, where it was coming from was like right here in my being, that, because we're beyond our bodies. We have like the spirit that is with our bodies, but we're beyond our bodies because we take our spirit body, with us. In my, it came from here, like my soul and my spirit. And it was that half a minute, second, that something inside of me said, no, I want to sing in the language of light, which I didn't even actually understand. It was something beyond what I could understand. It was beyond even the language of light words. It was beyond any of my knowing. It like the biggest soul spirit calling that I've ever had. And it came literally from my heart, like from this area. And when that happened, it just, I bam in my body. Like that was a powerful intention. And it put me back into this 3D world. Put me back into the 3D world. Yeah.
Was that hard? I mean, how did it feel to come back in?
Very, very challenging. Very challenging. That's why I couldn't imagine ever having any more. Because what happens is when you come back from the light, and I've talked to other near-death experiencers, and they tend to say the same thing, is you're instantly changed. It's like when you're born, you go through a process, and your baby, and hope to God that you are loved, and because you need that, you have to be that. This is the way that we need to come into this world. There's a transition time of coming in here. You're connecting with your mother and your family. When you come back, you slam back in your body from a place that is very far away to in the density. It's dense. You're dense. Here you are. You are who you are. The highest. You're the higher being. You're light. You're more light, and you come back into this density, and you're forever changed. So everything that I knew before, relationship, spirituality, anything, I was different. The way I related to that was different, and it was challenging because Kerin, okay, I thought I was spiritual. And so I couldn't understand at the time why would I have to go through such a dramatic experience? Because it's like you're starting from day one again with everything I knew and known about who I was and about my spirit. Now, however, the one thing that was strong in me was this, I like that, yeah, was this music, was the frequencies. It was like, I felt like it's like I'm an astronaut. You go to the light, you get what you need, you bring it back.
Yeah.
And you, that's what your purpose is.
Right.
And so that's what happened is the frequencies of the divine, of this place that I went to, what became alive within me, I became reconnected and attuned to that music, to that those frequencies. And then I think we talked about this before, is that and how interesting, but this is life, this is synchronicity, is that I started to sing in my own space and different things like that. And then science came. And I hope we're stable. We're stable with the connections. Please be stable. We're with the vortex. And but science came and wanted to analyze my frequencies. They wanted to analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, it was some kind of interesting thing where you were saying that you were I really like what you were saying. You're a cantor. Is that what you call it?
Right. In the Lutheran church, I was a Lutheran cantor. I sang liturgy, and so I understand that feeling of fullness in your heart when you're singing those tones, and just being able to fill the room with the love through the tones, you know, while people are worshiping. Yeah, I loved that. That was a piece of my life, you know, that I really, really enjoyed. That was a long time ago. I was in my 20s when I was doing that, but I understand. Yeah, and I think anyone really that has that gift of song, you know, understands that beauty and that frequency of love, because song, music just comes from our heart, right? I've in my years as a hospice chaplain, it's not uncommon that if someone is dying or is grieving, you know, to rock them, you know, if they want to be held, rock them, to you know, everything. And so I listen to your music. I feel that too. I feel that, and I wanted my viewers to feel that from you. Yeah.
Well, I like how you're sharing about the music and the song and how it comes from our hearts. And that's the most important thing. And when this scientist analyzed my vocals, they were trying to sort of discredit me and also to say that there's only certain frequencies or certain songs or the names of God. It was something like they were trying to say that only certain ways of saying God's name is the right way, and we don't know what you're doing, so we're gonna test you to see what you're seeing.
Hopefully she'll be back in a minute. We're having technical with our internet stuff here today.
Oh, really? Oh, Kerin? Oh boy, Kerin.
There you are. That's okay. That's okay. You know,
technical
difficulties. That's okay.
Do you?
I see you. Okay.
I don't see you.
You're not seeing me now?
Okay, hold on. What do we got? Wow, this is just a silhouette. Now, this is a silhouette now. We need some connection here.
Yeah.
Can
you hear me now?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, go ahead and go. I see you.
Okay. Good. Okay, as long as you can see me and we can talk to each other. And so they did. They analyzed. I have a YouTube that I put out in 2008, and that was like the first thing that I did to share these frequencies and the song, and that was the one. And they analyzed like every moment of my singing, and I didn't care. I didn't care what science had to say. I had recently been to the light and back, and that's dramatic. And I know what I experienced within my whole entire being, my physical, spirit, soul, beingness. I knew that's strong. That's what I experienced. And I know what I heard. I know that this was the language of light. So it's broad, the language of light. So it means it covers a large spectrum. It's not segregated. It's the language of the heart. It's the language of love. You can't say it's break it down and it has to be like this. So when they analyzed my vocals, I was fine with it because I really didn't care. However, their findings was pretty amazing. However, too, I had no idea what it meant back then, but they came back with this long analysis of the frequencies, and they said, well, you sing in the 6 pure tonal frequencies of the the Solfeggio scale, the 6 pure tonal notes of creation. And those were the lost ancient frequencies from the musical scale. And then they had all these other frequencies. I sang in all these frequencies. I couldn't imagine how I could sing in those frequencies. How could I sing in the mathematical equation of creation? I don't know. And I had no idea what it meant, because it didn't have any meaning to me. And then I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, just go to get this information from this website and it'll make sense. So now I know about what this is, and these are how the monks, they used to sing the Gregorian chants. The Mass was sang in Latin because of these tones, of these frequencies, of these vibrations. That musical scale back then, and Beethoven as well, it was a different musical scale that was more connected to who we were and to God, to be able to communicate and commune with God. And that's why those chants, the Gregorian chants, and the women singers in the churches, and the Mass that was sung, that's why it's so incredible, because it has these tones and these frequencies that connect us, that awaken us to who we truly are, to God, to Source. And then I realized with research, I think Dr. Leonard Horowitz, and there was another doctor, rediscovered the ancient musical scale back in the 1980s, and they wrote some books about it. And apparently the Catholic Church back then, a pope changed in I don't know, was it 1600, changed, or 1800, changed the musical scale just a little bit, so that we would be a little off, and apparently so that the people would come to the church, that the people would come to them instead of, their direct connection to God, Source. So I came to realize that actually science blessed me. They blessed me by saying that some of these frequencies, what I'm singing in is, the 528 hertz, transformation and miracles, or, coming together. There's like all these frequencies, like releasing the releasing frequencies of guilt and shame. Like apparently these frequencies do all these amazing things. They also science now uses these frequencies to repair the cells of our DNA. And so those are just some of those frequencies that I sing in. But it's, I really work with the angels. We work together now, and they sing with me, and they help me. And, we sing together what needs to come forth on this plane. And that's what I do. It's always a transmission, and I sing the music from the divine, from the angels, because that's my sole purpose on this planet. That's what I'm here to do. And it does certain things. It seems to do certain things for us, for the people. It helps people to remember,
Mm-hmm.
to remember and awaken, because frequencies can do it. It's like instant medicine.
Yes.
It can instantly open up your heart. It can instantly transcend and transform lower densities. At times when I bring in the singing, at certain times, people get healing. It's just a natural thing that happens. Sometimes people get healing of things that it's been a long time issue for them. Sometimes people come in with certain things, they don't feel good, and they'll be instantly, healed, because it's a high medicine that can shift you.
Yes.
It's an energetic, frequency medicine. And what you were saying too, Kerin, that you were saying, we were talking before, I can't see you.
It's okay. I think we're seeing you, so it's okay.
Okay. Well, I would like to see, your expressions and.
So I'm smiling at you.
Okay.
Understanding you, yes.
Okay. Because there are different frequencies. There are different energies
Mm-hmm.
that have different effects on us.
Mm-hmm.
There is music out there in this world and frequencies in our world. And this comes from me. This is what I'm saying as a person of frequency and song and going to the light and back. And every time I do go to the light and back, my frequency and my singing shifts. But on this planet, there is music and there is frequency that's not for our highest and greatest good, that doesn't make us feel good.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Shekina. Can there be harm in listening to other tones and things?
This is what I will say. Yes. Because what I have seen is some of the music that comes through is not empowering. The words aren't empowering. They're chaotic, and they can bring you down, and they can open up your field to negative thinking. It's not uplifting. And we know, and I'm not going to say specific what kind of music that is, because I think we already know in our world what kind of music that is. It's logical and easy to see when you have people who are dressed and, darkness and, the way they even present themselves is almost dark and negative, and they're spewing from them, this intense music it comes from that frequency. Absolutely, it comes from that frequency. I see it a little bit more in our world, that we have situation in our world that I have not seen before when I was younger. I don't remember when I was younger so much depression, suicides, and a lot of the other things. And all that, all that contributes. Like in a moment, you could hear, chaotic, intense music, and even, some of the vocals that, the words that they're saying, that's not, really empowering. It can bring you down in a second, and then open you up to other negative thinking. It's just like a domino effect. Or you can get the good medicine. I mean, you can get the good medicine or the bad medicine. Native American, being so connected to nature and in this land, I kind of, that's kind of my way too, is like, everything is medicine. The earth is medicine, nature, music, it's medicine, what we put in our bodies, it's medicine. Is it good for you? Like what we put in our bodies, are you feeding your soul, or you're feeding your spirit, or in what you're listening to?
Right.
So there, and they probably, they could test the frequencies. I mean, we've already done this. We already know this now. The doctor was it Dr. Emoto?
Yes. And
who did all the testing.
Right.
That was kind of his life's work.
Right. And how we can speak, we can actually speak into water and change the molecules of water. By just speaking our intention into it. I think that's so beautiful. I met him actually in California and was able to go and watch him bless, because he was going to all the nuclear power plants and blessing the water around them, around the world, before he died. Beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a doctor. This is real. He showed us. He's shown us. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
Our speaking, our frequency, our tone is real,
mm-hmm.
and has an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. This is who we are. So these frequencies can uplift you, or frequencies in song can not uplift you, and contribute to more thinking that's not for the highest and greatest good. But we have this, but we have beautiful music, and we have our heart. And I like what you were saying about your ministry, how sometimes you, from your heart, you'll sing a lullaby, or it'll come through you.
Mm-hmm.
God's source,
mm-hmm.
love will come through you, right through your heart at that time. And that's powerful, divine music. It is serious medicine. Sometimes I don't think people realize how powerful, what medicine this is.
Mm-hmm.
The frequencies.
Our environment is huge. It's huge. What kind of environment we place ourselves in, and then have expectations of how we are going to be or feel. So before, I want to know, how do these various songs, tones, I mean, are you in meditation when they come to you, or do you set an intention to go out to the beautiful mountains and just sit in nature, and then just, just be with all of that beauty out there? I mean, how can one not sing after you've been out there? But and then the second question is, like, how do you prepare a song, and then how can we prepare to receive a song?
Good question. I love that. Good questions. By being open in your heart, by listening to and trusting your intuition, what is real and what is true. And also what you were saying too is by putting yourself in that good environment, by self-love and care. Vitally important, your environment. That's how it happens. And really trusting and allowing the song, the music to come through you. Trusting the spirit of the divine to come through you, and also to know the difference. to start to, when that spirit does come through you, let yourself be compelled. And sometimes it may be a song or a tone or a note that's needed. And it needs to come on the earth plane. And you're the vehicle, you're the one that's the vessel. It needs to bring it forth. And whether it be a song or a tone or something that you say, your words, that's important. It's trusting and knowing what that feels like in your being when that happens. Because it becomes stronger is what happens. It becomes stronger. And how that affects another person, an animal, a place, or a situation. Because sometimes it's just a place or a situation. Maybe this place needs your words of encouragement or your blessing to shift things. So it's that trust. And you know it. For me, it's been an ongoing process. Being in the light and back has kind of accelerated that. However, being here, I'm open to see the angels come. I have a close relationship with the angels and the angelics. And I can feel them. I can sense them when they're around.
How does it feel? Tell us how it feels.
Well, I have an actual physical sensation in my body. It's real. And I feel them. And it's like someone that you love so much, and someone who loves you so much unconditionally, showing up and being with you. And it's like there's this upliftment within your being and within your spirit. And also you recognize that, like I recognize that. And when a song needs to come through, I feel them. I experience them. And I'm very clairaudient. That's one of my senses that is very strong. So I can hear the frequency, and I can hear the song tone, and so I bring it through. And as soon as I start to bring it through, then it becomes stronger, and I made the connection. We made the connect. Once I let it come out through me, because then we're the ones, we're the vessels, we're the vehicles of spirit, of source.
Yes.
I let it come through, and then I made the connect. And it can be very different at different times, because sometimes it can be for a specific individual that I'm working with in a session. And so I'm tuning in for them to bring in that particular frequency that would assist them. And sometimes the angels, it's usually the angels or the other very higher beings that would like a frequency to come to this planet, a song that would help to do certain things. And so I'll bring that in. It's usually when I'm clear and I'm not doing a whole bunch of work. Like I'm not, I don't have myself completely engrossed with a whole bunch of things. A lot of times it'll happen in the morning because I'm clear and I'm open to receive. Or, and what you were saying as well, when I go into nature sometimes too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Gosh, how do we prepare to receive then? I mean, I know you do meditations and you offer meditations on your sites and things like that. I mean, if I wanted to be surrounded, you know, with angels or with music, do you think it's available for everyone and we just kind of shut it down because of our belief system not being as open as we could be? I mean, do you think, I mean, how does this all work? Can you tell me? I mean, is it kind of like a prayer language or what do you think?
So yes to what you're saying. And each one of us has our ways that we feel supported and connected. And each one of us knows what's right for us. When we have thoughts that are maybe not empowering, are negative, then those are energies that are not helping to make you available to the angels, make you available and receptive to that. And so it's being receptive. And so in the ways that it's right for you. I happen to be a very good meditator, and I also need a large amount of time alone and in nature because I'm a sensitive empath. And I need that so that I can come into an alignment. And so that helps me. So my life is not so separate from who I am and my service on this planet. So that's an all thing. So I don't ever watch anything of any kind of violence or any kind of thing at all like that. I am mindful to be kind and loving to others, to people, to situations. To be loving and kind to my own self is extremely important. That I get the rest that I need, that I get the good food for myself. If my vehicle is not up to par and doing well, then I may not be able to be singing so much all the time because I have to take care of myself. So I need those foods. I need those inputs. I need those good relationships in my life. Prayer is important, and in prayer, meditation, and also listening to upliftment, like listening to chants. That when you start to hear them, it enlightens your spirit. So listening to that, many people who listen and watch my videos on YouTube, because that's part of my service here, is when these come through, and they're only a transmission one time, when this comes through, to put this out to the world. And so YouTube and the internet has given me a place, a format to be able to do that, to share that with the world, whoever wants to connect with it, and to release that. And many people who listen to some of the music or the songs that will come through, because they're different, they're not like a regular song, they'll become activated, they'll become awakened. And so many people who have listened to the music, the language of light, they become activated in their own self. They start singing in the tones. They start singing in the language of light, or they start toning because it awakens them. And it's different with this music that comes through, or this language. it doesn't have like real words. Because sometimes when we have words in a song, or it's sung over and over and over to get just like perfect, it has that one frequency. And it has words, and words we have to filter. We have to filter the words in our mind to see, is that okay with us? It may happen quickly, but some of the tones and the songs that come through, they don't really have words. They have a harmonic resonancy melody. And I think it allows you to be more open because there's like less filters that we have to go through. And you can just like allow it to, empower you more. And also because every being, no matter what level they think that they're at, they know. Maybe you shut it down a little bit, but your body will react. Your spirit will react. You know what's right. You know what's true for you. We call it intuition. In past sensory awareness, a knowing. And that's our divine human blueprint, that we have this.
Yes. Oh, Shekina, it's beautiful. It's beautiful for you to get us to think about how we are more than just a body. We are a spirit in a body having human experience, and there's so many benefits to that. If we're mindful, I mean, just to the five senses, or the how many ever senses there are now in the world that they're saying that we have, that intuitive sense is growing. And I too feel that light and love needs to be lifted up so much, especially in today's world with all of the disasters and, natural disasters and, climate change. I mean, societies are changing and people are starting to migrate. So there's a lot of shifting in our energy that is impacting us. And so to be kind, to be loving, to be mindful, to be meditating, to be present with people when we are with people, not just passing them and nodding, but to really reach out and get to know one another and get to know that spiritual presence that's within us all is such a gift. I can't imagine life without that. Really, I mean, I've been a hospice chaplain for over 20 years, and it's just so special. It's just so special if you take the time and sit down with someone and really get to know their heart, not just their mind or what they wear or what they do for a living, but to just sit and hold space and be friends in a spiritual way. So I thank you so much, because that to me is what I'm always feeling when I talk to you, and I appreciate that about you and your gifts. And I want our viewers to know that the sound that you hear before my interviews and after my interviews, they're Shekinah. They're that modality of love and light that has come from her blessing as she's been in the light. And it's always just life after life, right? We don't have to fear death. I mean, we're just in this together, and it's loving.
Yes, that is so true, what you just said. It's what we call it here on this earth plane, but it's life after life. It truly is. For me, that life out there is the larger life. This smaller kind of life, we are grandeur, and I think our job is to bring that grandeur, our true essence, our spirit, here in these vehicles, and through our senses.
Yeah, and I think in all faith paths, I can't even recall any faith path that doesn't have some sort of sound or music, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, throughout centuries, I mean, just from the beginning of time, I mean, it's the angelic choirs, you know, we've always been taught are singing. I thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with our viewers today, and thank you for your gift. And the folks can find you on YouTube. I know. Just type in your name and you'll pop up. And where else might they find you? And what do you have anything coming up? Any offers or anything?
It's Shekina Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to YouTube, Shekina Rose. Mm-hmm. And my website is shekinarose.com. And you can find the information, but you can get the music. You can get the latest. It's coming in there this year. It's been a lot, and end of last year with the mother hymns. It's just coming in, and I'm bringing it forth. I'll have a recorder. Sometimes I just have a recorder on the table and I just turn it on. Let the divine music come in, and then I share it out. So I would recommend that you just go and experience that. I have an event the end of the month, September 28th, and I'll be singing in Sedona. I'm also being called by the angels, however, which I'm very excited, just to bring forth more of this, more of the connections and the singing and the inner reaction. And I work with a wonderful woman here, Kimberly Griffin. She's a sound alchemist, an incredible healer. And together we create music and bring in the angels and the different, with the crystal bowls and working with the crystals. And we're going to be doing a monthly online gathering with people of the world for what's happening at this particular time, the particular frequencies and the tones and the connection, kind of a meditation that will lead into, and we'll have some of the crystal bowls as well, and some of the other musical instruments. So it's going to be and it's going to come from this place, from this powerful vortex. So we're being called to do that, and it's going to also to build more of a community, and so that we can actually see each other, and know each other.
Yeah.
So that'll be happening in the fall, in October. And I have sessions that I do actually here, started with the crystals and the singing. I have with the angels as an angel medium. Mm-hmm. And I do it over the phone as well. So I do sessions and attunements and alignments over the phone. So wherever that you are, it's always been very powerful. It's been the way that I've done it, is over the phone, and they can receive that as well. So, yes.
Great. Oh, well, I thank you again, and namaste. And thank you all for watching Shekina Rose and her.
Thank you, Kerin, for all the work that you do. You're amazing. Who you are and what you are. Thank you. I really, really, really appreciate you. Really appreciate you.
All right. Until next time. Thank you. Kundara